car talk. See, I won't sing anymore.
Anyway, hi.
Car talk.
Time for car talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, people have been saying, I love your car talks. And it's like, yeah, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a new version of a podcast.
Quick,
down
easy.
and dirty, easy.
Yep.
Sitting in the car.
Bing, bing. Bing, bing, bang.
So today,
Bada bing, bada boom.
what's the car talk today?
So-
Miss sound effects.
Yeah. Today, we're talking about visual clutter. So we put the poll out, and people want visual clutter to be the topic. So yeah, visual clutter. And
So when we talk about visual clutter, we're thinking about what's in your classroom that kids and people see on the walls or displayed or whatever, and what's important and what's not important.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things we always say in our trainings, we always talk about, do you want your classroom, do you want your program to look like Chuck E. Cheese? Bum, 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 crazy stuff, like filled with all this stuff and overstimulating? Or do you want it to look like a spa? Plain, not overstimulating, just the important stuff.
Like me.
Yeah, it is. It's like
Yes.
you. But it reminds me of Finland too. I want to talk about Finland because I think
Okay.
that Finland was important.
But the behavior that you see if you go to Chuck E. Cheese is very different from behavior you would see if you're at a spa. So if your environment is set up as, a big giant mouse and all bright colors and lights flashing and loud music and all that kind of overstimulation.
Vegas for kids?
Yeah. You're going to get like cha-ching kind of kids that are
Yeah.
bouncing off the walls. And if you're set up like la 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 la, namaste,
Yes.
you're going to get more relaxed, peaceful
Yes, calm
behaviors
children.
and calm children.
Absolutely.
I
So
agree.
when we went to Finland, one of the things that stood out for both of us when we were there was how plain everything was. I mean, it was extremely plain.
Yep.
The walls. I mean, the children are outdoors probably 90% of the time. It's just crazy. I mean, compared to here in the United States. But the children are outdoors most of the time. But when they are indoors, it was amazing, wasn't it?
Very few of the classroom walls had anything on them.
Right. Very bare.
Some of them had documentation of children's work in many different languages, which was really interesting. A few of them had some things that the teacher put up that were maybe connected to some sort of learning of a concept, but not so. There were no calendars. There were no lakeshore posters with, teddy bears holding shapes and colors. There were no birthday cupcakes with everybody's birthday.
Nope.
Or clowns or monkeys or whatever you put on all those things you use the Cricut machine for and cut out. Zero.
Yeah.
None.
It was
None
very
of that.
empty and calm, but it was calming.
Yep.
You walked in and it was like, it was very, a relaxed atmosphere.
And they didn't have a ton of materials out.
No.
They had plenty of materials, but they didn't have everything they own out. And some of you, I'm assuming some of you are family child care providers where you do daycare in your home. And one of the things is you don't have a lot of space sometimes. So you get everything and you put everything in, and you maybe don't want to get rid of things because some child might want that, or you have to have infant toys and toddler toys and baby things and bigger kid stuff. It can be over the top sometimes. You don't need to have everything out and visual all the time.
Right. So that's where your job comes in too as a facilitator. What are the children interested in? And this is what we're going to put out. Like where are their interests going? What are they asking for? And we're going to put that out rather than have everything you own out. So I think that is something to think about too, is, just putting out what's interesting to them. But that overstimulating classroom, sometimes I walk into classrooms and I'm like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
The music is blaring, the stuff's all over the walls and the kids are all over the place. And
the
just
lights, the lighting.
Oh, lighting. Big deal.
When we were in Reggio Emilia, lamps were much more prevalent than big overhead fluorescent lights. And I know sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, but you can get some baffles so that you can, so that you can, sorry, I just saw something funny in the parking lot.
You are bad. But no, the lighting is huge. And remember that sometimes lighting bothers my eyes as an adult. So like fluorescent lights can bother my eyes. I know it bothers you too. But think about a child. They're not going to be like, excuse me, the fluorescent lighting is bothering me.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a migraine here,
Yes.
and that's why I'm acting this way.
So think about that too. How can you dim that, and how can you control that?
You want to have like an kind of environment instead of
Yeah. And
You
there
know.
is a time and place for loud music and children dancing and clapping
Absolutely.
and moving around. There's a place for that, for sure,
Yep.
but not all day long.
Yep.
And, think about that. And also, having headphones for children available, I love when I go into a program and there's a basket of headphones. So if a child wants to go over and put the headphones on to,
Yeah,
calm down the
they're
noise,
not
they
even.
can.
There's no wire. They're not connected
Right.
to
They just put
anything.
the
They're
headphones
just
on
they're
to
just
to
buffering some of the
and
noise.
teachers may want to put the headphones on sometimes too.
Can you get me some?
Right, but a busy classroom is good. Like children moving around like a beehive,
Yep.
moving around, like checking things out and getting involved. But when it's the visual of it is overstimulating. That's just too much.
So let's think about what you should have on your walls or what you could have on your
Yes.
walls and kind of simplify it. Things that interest kids. So pictures of them. Every child is egocentric.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most important thing in the world. So make sure you have good photos of the kids.
Yes.
Pictures of their work. So maybe they tape their own scribbles up or they tape up their things. Or maybe you have a frame for every child and they can just, pin some of their work inside. No, don't give them the pins, but you know what I mean.
Slide it
You
in.
can slide it into a frame for them. Maybe you have, Leanne was in a classroom once and they had photographs of every child's house in the block area, and it was awesome because it was multi-ethnic, multicultural. It was real for them. Photos of their families, photos of their dogs. Children, if they're older and they're interested in writing, you have words, but not like this vocabulary word wall that you go up with a pointer kind of thing.
That's for kindergarten and first grade, not
and
preschool.
notice I didn't mention that you should have a calendar and you should have a weather bear and you should have all those things that you could buy at the learning store. You don't need all that stuff. Kids can learn about the passage of time and in different ways. They can learn about the weather when you're out in the playground. You don't have to use your walls for all that stuff.
Think about the walls as prime real estate. So think about your walls as prime real estate. It's prime real estate. What am I putting up on these walls? Value your wall space. Make sure it's something that's valuable that's going up, not a Lakeshore poster with the bears holding stupid triangles and circles. That's not quality material, to be honest. The children's work is quality material. That's what you want to put up. Or photographs. Maybe you put photographs of things that are local, like your local city hall.
Applebee's, City Hall, CVS, things that kids see all
McDonald's.
the time. Great idea.
Things that they're going to recognize and notice, and with the name of the place underneath it. Like those are the things that are important for children, not a bear holding a triangle. They don't give a crap.
And then I'll give you a couple of suggestions or challenges, I guess. I'll give you a couple of challenges. One, do a primary color inventory of your program. So sit down on the floor, look around. Every time or maybe you literally go around the room, almost like a panning of a camera. You go around the room and you say, every time you see something red, yellow, or blue, you just put a tick mark on your paper. And if you've got a predominance of red, yellow, and blue, those primary colors, it might be too much. It might be overstimulating. Do you have some paler colors? Do you have some softer tones? That kind of thing. And then the other thing I'll suggest is that you do kind of an inventory of what children look at and what children go to. We go in classrooms all the time. I've not once ever had a kid say, hey, would you like to come and see my birthday cupcake or this poster that the teacher paid a lot of money for and is taking up all this space, or the presidents that I don't even know what that's all about kind of thing.
They don't need to know that.
But they will say, do you want to see my family? Or this is my painting, or I colored this yesterday, or oh, we did this together in the class and we made this thing, or whatever. That's what's important for children. So watch and observe and say, wow, you know what? Nobody has gone over to that stuff, and I've dedicated all this wall space to it. Maybe it's time to rethink that.
Yeah, think of natural materials, natural containers, like the plastic stuff and the red, yellow, blue stuff. Try to eliminate that, because it's going to make it a much calmer, relaxed atmosphere when you have that.
Am I talking like Chuck E. Cheese and you're talking like the spa?
I think so.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, Leanne has a very soft tone.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm like, here's another idea. I've
zen.
seen too much red, yellow, and blue. You're zen, my
Yeah, no.
God. You look like Mr. T. I like that.
I
You
know,
have your Mr. T necklace on.
But for sure, you need to think about your environment in that way, because it definitely it has a reaction on the children. And we noticed that when we were in Reggio and when we were in Finland. It definitely has an effect on the children.
It does.
So
absolutely.
United States, get with it. Come on, let's start thinking.
So
differently.
if your classroom is a lot of red, yellow, and blue and plastic, phase
Slowly
it out.
but surely.
Maybe a parent would like a couple of containers to have at home for their children's Legos. Maybe you can go to the yard sale or the Goodwill store and get a wicker basket or a Lazy Susan or something different to put things in. Start to phase it out. If they're going to let you paint your classroom, think about what's on the walls. And
Think
sometimes,
spa.
think spa. Think.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Namaste.